Hello and welcome to another episode of my MotoGP 20 career mode, and here we are today for round 3 of the MotoGP season at Argentina. But obviously first of all we've got to advance to that point, so on week 15 currently we advance forward straight to Argentina then as the next week, but we've got a notification on the technical staff. So a new candidate once again for the chief engineer, so not bad stats. Well, actually it is pretty bad. I was going to say not bad stats. It's good for the aero, but the aero is basically irrelevant since obviously we've already fully upgraded, so I'm going to refuse that person there, Paul Jefferson. So then that leaves us with no notification, so we'll head straight into Argentina. I'll see you in Q1. Actually, before we head into that, we should look at the championship standings. We're actually third in the championship after 2 rounds. We've had a pretty good 2 races. Obviously got 5th in the first race at Qatar, and we managed to get 2nd in Austin. It was a fantastic race, really good battles the whole way through. We carved our way up from 11th on the grid. Unfortunately, we couldn't quite catch Marquez in that race. He was way too far in front. But if we had a few more laps, I think we actually did have the pace to potentially win. So it means that on our day, we've got some very, very good pace. So we're 19 points off of the championship lead at this point, which is actually better than we were doing this point in the Moto2 season. So that does bode pretty well. Quartararo 1 point ahead of us, so probably aiming to beat Quartararo in this race. If we can beat Marquez, that would be great. But it seems like Quartararo, we've battled with him in both races so far, so it looks like we've got similar pace to him. So then that's who we're trying to aim to beat. So I'll head into Argentina now. I'll see you in Q1. So then we're here at Argentina now for qualifying 1. So let's have a look who's in the session with us then. So Jack Miller, Petrucci and Mir once again in this session. So it just seems to be so scripted. It's actually the same people in here like as Austin. I think it is actually. Although Nakagami's actually through. And he wasn't last time. Who's replaced him in this one then? So we've got Alex Marquez, still Lecuona, Binder, Smith, Rabat, Paulo Spagaro, Jean Zarco, Miguel Oliveira, Francesco Bagnaia, Jean Mir, Danilo Petrucci and Jack Miller. So basically the same sort of people that are usually in Q1 with us. So we're aiming to get to Q2. So obviously once again 2 basically factory Ducatis to try and beat here. So it's definitely going to have us work cut out for us. But we have managed to get through to Q2 both times so far. Obviously 12th position is basically the minimum we need to get for the qualifying objective because they want us to start on the 4th row. So we really do need to get through to Q2 if possible to meet that objective. So obviously soft tyres, that is perfect. I'll leave it on 5 laps of fuel for now. I'll head out onto the track. So Argentina then, I don't know how our bike is going to perform here. There are some hard braking zones at this circuit, but overall it's not quite as bad as Austin. So we actually might be a bit quicker over 1 lap. Whether we'll be able to then transfer that into the race, I don't know. As we go towards the first corner then, trying to brake. The bike doesn't feel great as we go in there. We've ran a little bit wide. Alex Marquez has gone out the pits in front of us. The rear sliding quite a bit. Obviously, using traction control 2, that is the setting I prefer to use on this KTM. It's probably the one I should use in MotoGP all the time, but I often leave it on 4 without thinking. I think I did most of the qualifying in Austin actually on setting 4. We've really messed up turn 4 there. You can take it in much more of a swoop. So we're currently 2 tenths off. Which is actually usually how far we're off at this point. We usually start a couple tenths down. We do need to do a few laps to get into it. Because the bike isn't great, I've got to get back used to riding the bike. You have to ride it quite differently to how you'd expect really to get the most out of it. Because obviously it's not the best bike out there. So through turn 6 then, I was thinking that this corner probably wouldn't be too bad. We're 4 thousandths under the time. So we actually gained in the sector that's basically a braking zone. So that's quite interesting. Obviously I have got quite good skill on the brakes compared to the AI. But the bike doesn't particularly want to stop. But currently we obviously are going red. We're closing up on Alex Marquez ahead of us. See, Austin was really not the best track for our bike. Especially the first sector. Trying to flick it side to side was not great. So we're now 1.5 tenths underneath the time by... I don't actually know who's on pole currently. It's probably Bagnaia. It could be Miller. Maybe it could be Mir. It's usually one of those guys that sets the lap first. As we go into the penultimate turn, then we're still closing up on Alex Marquez. We've probably taken that a little too tight actually. So as we flick the bike over, the bike obviously wheeling quite a bit because the anti-wheelie's not great. Up towards the line then, we've gone onto the grass on the exit, purely just because it's slightly quicker to do that. If you're committed to the lap, it's quicker to just try and go full throttle to the line and try and make it stick for the next lap. For now, obviously that is provisional pole in this session anyway, but that's provisionally fastest. So we'll have a look to see if that still is the case later on. So with 5 minutes left, yes, we actually do have 1.5 tenths underneath Jack Miller's time there, so that is quite promising. Looks like we are going to go through a little bit easier than it has been the last couple of races. Obviously, previously we've really struggled to actually get out of this session, but it seems like the base setting on this bike is actually quite good for this circuit. I mean, it's kind of what I was thinking. There's a few hard braking zones, but the corners that follow them aren't particularly tight, so it's not like I have to really try to get the bike slowed down because we're struggling. Obviously, at Austin into the hairpins because I was struggling to get the bike to stop and turn through them. And then obviously the S's, we were losing quite a bit of time in qualifying there. In the race, I'd kind of got to grips with how to ride the bike through that section, but it was quite difficult to get the bike side to side. So it looks like we probably are going to be quickest in this Q1 session, so that's definitely a positive to take, and perhaps we could get our best qualifying result yet in Q2. I don't know, but we'll see where we stack up at the end of the session. So then, as it seems to have been every single time so far in this season, me and Miller go through Q1. So we have met the qualifying goal there then. So Tito Rabat starts last on the grid this time, so it's not Bradley Smith. Our teammate Lecuona second to last, and Oliveira in 6th in this session. So he's not too far down. Hopefully one of those guys can try and bring home some more points. We do obviously need it in the Constructors' Championship. Bradley Smith in 11th. But it seems like Alicia Spagro, once again, is already through to Q2. So he's actually doing really, really well in that Aprilia. In the races, not so much. He's been quite unlucky, I think, in both the races. But in qualifying, he's really, really doing a decent job. So then, we're here for Q2 then, with the fastest riders. The guys that we were battling with in the previous, well, the races, really, previous races. Because we were in 3rd at one point in Qatar, until obviously Quartararo did hit us out the way. And then we didn't quite have the pace to catch back up to him and Crutchlow. So we've got plenty of tyres to spare, actually, in this session, which is quite rare. Usually we don't have many, because I've had to do a few runs in Q1. But we'll head out onto the track then. It looks like we've got very, very decent pace here, so hopefully we can get a good qualifying position and a good result in the race as well. So I'm guessing this episode will probably be a bit shorter than the one at Texas. Obviously there was so much qualifying there because we were really, really struggling, and the race was fantastic as well. I hope you guys did enjoy that one. I hope we'll get a great race here as well. So we start our flying lap then, down the straight towards the first corner. Like I've obviously been saying the entire episode so far, our bike seems to suit this track quite well, but we've made a big mistake into the first corner when actually right behind Marquez in the pit lane exit, so that's probably going to be our lap done. We braked way too late into there and then got held up obviously by Mark coming out of the pit lane, so we're probably going to have to do another lap at the end of this one, but we'll see where this puts us anyway. So through turn 2 then, flicking the bike over through 3, we've run way too wide through 3, we've got on the grass, Marquez is probably going to come flying past us on the straight. So this has been a lap full of mistakes. We're only 6/10 down as well, which actually isn't the end of the world. I thought Mark was going to come flying past us, but he seems to have just closed up to the back of us a little bit more. This will probably be quite a good gauge to see where we are in terms of lap time compared to Mark, but we've gone really, really wide once again. Oh, Mark, oh, we had to properly sit up there because Mark was on the inside, so that is the lap absolutely done. If it wasn't done before, that's the lap done. So we're going to go down into power mode 0, 1.5 seconds off currently at this point, which actually isn't the end of the world, considering how poor the lap has been. So it looks like we've got some very, very good actual pace here. Obviously we're going to be following Mark as well for the next lap now. So we slide the bike through 8, just trying to get to turn. Obviously we are still struggling a little bit with that around this circuit. It's not as bad as Austin though, so it's not too much of a downside. So 1.7 seconds off, so we are still losing a little bit of time, although we are using power mode 0 now compared to power mode 2. Marquez is streaking away from us, so it doesn't look like we've got the pace of Marquez here at Argentina, but then very few people do. So will he be able to make it 3 wins in a row at this circuit? So over the line then at the end of that lap. 3rd place that's put us, but I'm guessing only 2 other people have set a time, so we'll see what this time can do for us. So we're 10th down then in the first sector, so that's pretty good. Mark is still getting further ahead of us though. So it's actually Morbidelli on provisional pole here then. So we go through turn 6. We're actually under the time now, 26 thousandths under, so again, it does seem like we are quicker in that section on the brakes. We're doing a bit of a stoppie again though into turn 7, which actually seems to have worked out pretty well. Managed to get the stop. We are actually closing on Mark here, but obviously we're under Morbidelli's time currently. We did out-qualify Morbidelli back in Qatar, I believe, so we have probably got similar pace to him. We've gone a little bit wide through 9 though. That's definitely going to have affected our run a little bit through this section. Now 23 thousandths off the time, so we're not quite off the pace of Morbidelli. We're down to 5th place now as well in the session. Looking the bike over through the last sector then. 1/10 off Morbidelli's time, so that's actually put us actually it's 1/10 off Marquez's time. It's put us 2nd position. Now 3rd, as Crutchlow now goes fastest, 36.2. So Cal Crutchlow currently in provisional pole. Also he must have been right behind us then. So 3rd position, that is fantastic, but obviously we could probably find a little bit more time. So we'll head back to the pits and see if we can try and maybe even get pole position here then. So the pace does seem electric at this circuit. The bike actually works pretty well. There's only a few corners that it's not great to. The last 2 corners, so flicking the bike over from the penultimate turn into the last corner, that's a bit slow, obviously similar to the S's in Austin, is where we're obviously struggling. And also flicking over from the exit of the sort of uphill left-hander, where the exit of that corner, you kind of turn a bit right through it. It's not great through that corner either. don't know, I'll tell you the corner name, or the number of the corner when we get to it. So 5 minutes to go, obviously we're now down to 5th place on the grid, which is still a fantastic starting position, especially compared to last time. I mean, imagine how much we could do starting that much further up on the grid. So we've never started that far up, because I think we started 7th back in Qatar, ended 5th. There's been a crash, Marquez has gone down then, so will that be the end of his charge? There's a yellow flag. Luckily there's no rules where you have to actually slow down for the yellow flag in the game, so otherwise that would have been rather annoying. As we go through the first corner then, probably the best we've taken it the entire session. The crash for Dovizioso as well now then, so quite a few crashes going on for the AI. Personal best in the second sector then, only 1.8 tenths away from Cal Crutchlow's time, so we are finding something. This is the corner here through turn 9 and 10. It's not great through that corner, so yeah, exactly, there you go. We've lost a bit of time through that sector. It's just not great on the exit of 9 into 10. Trying to flick the bike over to the right a little bit, and obviously you want to go back to the left then. Maverick Vinales has had a crash as well, so a few crashes happening right near the end of this session. But Cal Crutchlow really could be on for pole position here, and that'd be fantastic. Obviously he's done really well at Argentina in the past. He's actually won here before as well. Through turn 14 and over the line, we've gone 84 thousandths away from the time, but that's 5th place apparently. That's 5th place, 84 thousandths off the time. How close is this field? We've got to have a look. Basically, if we improve by anything, we'll be on pole, but we're currently 5th. This is a fantastically close grid. As we've headed into the pits then, it has changed once again. Rossi is now on pole by a 1/10 of a second ahead of Crutchlow. Vinales a few thousandths behind him. Marquez very close to him as well. And obviously we're extremely close to Marquez. I'm guessing Crutchlow has improved his time by a couple of tenths of a second. Is there enough time for us to go out? I don't think there is now. So no then, at the end there was not enough time for us to get round and do a flying lap. I did try to do a pit start because I knew that wouldn't stop me instantly, but you lose too much time in the pit lane. I probably could have just done it if I was able to go full speed straight the way, but you have to go so slow down the whole pit lane, so yeah, obviously we didn't have enough time to get out. So Valentino Rossi then on pole, so after that dreadful performance in Austin, Texas, where he finished 16th, he's coming back with a bang here with pole position ahead of Cal Crutchlow in second, managed to improve his time by another 2/10 of a second. Maverick Vinales third, so actually two they're not movie star anymore, two Monster Energy Yamahas in the top 3 then. So those guys have been a bit outclassed by, well, mainly Quartararo, not so much Morbidelli. But Morbidelli, I think he did beat Rossi in the previous race. So those guys have been outclassed a little bit by the satellite team, but this time they have struck back. With Marquez in 4th place then, so I think his run of pole positions are over then. 5th place for myself, 6th place for Quartararo. But look how close all the gaps are, 3/10, 3/10, 3/10. Morbidelli only 4/10 off, Rins only 4/10 off, Miller half a second, Espagro 10th, Takaki Nakagami 11th, Dovizioso down in 12th place, but only 8/10 off, so this could be an amazing race here with all these close lap times. I'm hoping that the AI do carry this pretty good qualifying pace into the race, but without further ado, we'll head down to the grid and let's get this thing started. So we're down here on the grid then. Looking at Cal Crutchlow, was just showing Rossi, but as I was picking my tyres, so didn't show that little bit. So we're going with a hard rear then. I'm not sure what tyre to go with, to be honest. I feel like at Argentina, tyre wear is always a problem. It is on the Moto 2. It's probably going to be the same on the MotoGP. So I think a hard tyre is the smart choice here, because I feel like the medium will wear out too quickly. So we've got 9 laps actually if you look at the fuel. So yeah, I'm being more and more confident about that hard tyre. Obviously the medium does work at most circuits. It's enough for me, but this track obviously with sliding the rear, and I just want to have enough grip, because obviously last time we raced at Argentina, it was in the wet of course, but we did lose the race basically because the tyre ran out. So I don't want that to happen again, so I've gone for the hard tyre. Might be slightly unorthodox, a little bit against what I tend to do. I usually go for a medium rear, but hopefully that will work. So let's get this race started and see if we can make up any positions at the beginning. So Rossi and Cal both seem to have hard tyres on, so that helps validate my decision even more. So we're waiting for the lights to go out here in Argentina. The lights out, away we go. Palmo 2 off the line, of course, as we always do, to try and get the best start we can. A bit of a wheelie there from the bike, obviously maybe caused a little bit by the Palmo 2, but as we go towards the first corner then, trying to be a bit tentative. There's been a crash. It's Alex Rins. Alex Rins is down. I think Morbidelli's just gone to the car park to the first corner as well. Dovi's already on the inside of us. So Andrea Dovizioso looking for a move past us there. Marquez is up to 3rd place. Oh, Dovi's hit us there. Oh, Dovi. Dovi's gone really, really wide. I was looking over at him. Dovi sort of just went into us a little bit there, and that just sent him wide. So Dovi again not having a great race. Mir's now down, so both the Suzukis have gone down on this first lap then. So we're in the slipstream of Fabio Quartararo here to the left-hand side. Back up into 5th place, obviously where we started. Hitting the brakes for a tricky corner coming up here. Quartararo back at the inside. We've actually left the door quite open because I followed Vinales' braking there. That's allowed me to go wide. So Quartararo has got back in front of us. Looking behind us, Dovizioso is now back in front of Morbidelli. So Dovi's definitely going to be trying to charge his way through, a bit like Petrucci did in the previous race. So we're looking for the outside then on Quartararo. Once again, not good enough. Dovi comes flying on the inside. Oh, Dovizioso flying on the inside. That's forced me straight off the track. So we're now behind Alex Marquez, but we've got the run on Alex. Around the outside of him we go. So back up in 8th place. But yeah, this has not been a great first lap at all for me. So flicking the bike over then into the last corner. Rossi leads, Crutchlow 2nd, Marquez 3rd, Vinales 4th, Quartararo 5th, Dovi 6th, Morbidelli 7th, myself 8th, then Marquez in 9th and Nakagami in 10th. That's the top 10. Don't know why I felt the need to read all those out, but I did. So Valentino still leading the race, so this could be a polar opposite for the last episode for him. Obviously he had a terrible race, he could have a fantastic one here. Morbidelli is who we've got our sights on anyway. So Rossi does fastest lap, 37.2. We do a 37.5, so we're a couple of tenths slower than him. We made a little bit of progress on Morbidelli on that lap, but not as much as I would like. So through turn 5 then, closing up to Morbidelli because I've taken a bit of a tighter line. He's dropping back from Dovizioso a little bit now, so I think he's dropping back from the group, so we probably want to make a move on Morbidelli if we want to stick with the group. Only a couple of tenths behind him now. Again, he's gone wide through 7, but that actually might be the slightly better line since this is the sector they're quicker than me through. Through the last corner, Marquez 37.2, 37.1 for me, so fastest lap of the race then to me, unless anyone ahead's gone faster. Dovizioso has gone slightly faster than me actually, so we're all running a very, very hot pace right now at the front of this group. We're getting away from Alex Marquez behind. Again through turn 5, we close up to Morbidelli, right on him this time, right on him. Nakagami's down in 19th, he was in the top 10 at the end of the first lap, so I don't know what's happened to him. As we run through turn 6 then, maybe we're going to look for a move on Morbidelli into 7 around the outside. We can't quite get that turned in. Morbidelli's on a medium rear then, we just saw there. So that could be quite interesting. I wonder who else is on a medium. Over the line again, 37.2. So we're still a couple tenths behind Morbidelli. I'm really sick of being behind him at this point. I really want to make a move on him. We're closing up to him towards turn 1. You can see he's dropping back from the pack in front. I hope he's not holding me up too much. Here we go into turn 5. We're looking at the inside of Morbidelli, but he's actually turned in tight this time. He runs wide every single time, except the time I go for the move. It's not good enough, but here we go then. On the power around the outside through 6. Are we going to have it on Morbidelli? Going to try and keep the power open as much as we can. Right towards the grass. Morbidelli's still got it, but we're now on the inside for turn 7. Oh, massive block pass there. That wasn't meant to be a block pass at all, but I just sort of skated wide. I think the hard tyre was the wrong choice. It seems that way anyway so far, but we're now up to 7th place with a very aggressive move on Franco Morbidelli. Fastest lap of the race for myself there, 37.0, so we are picking up the pace a little bit. Looking like some moves going on up ahead as well. I think that's Quartararo looking for a way past Vinales. He's going up the inside through the first corner. Will he pull it off? Looks like it, but Vinales coming back at him. Poor Dovi's sliding that rear tyre, so I think actually maybe our tyre starting to come into it a little bit now. Morbidelli's now almost a second behind us, although he did lose a big amount of time from us sitting him up. I didn't mean to do that move. It was just, I was going for the inside. I kind of just drifted towards him a bit and he had to react, so I do apologise. But so we end the lap then. Dovi's looking back at us, 37.6 that lap, so much, much slower, but then we haven't really lost much time. So if we can start trying to put some decent laps together, we can definitely actually maybe make a few positions. Dovizioso's gone, well, they're all going a bit wide through the first corner compared to me. We're on the inside of Dovizioso, he's had to sit up a little bit for us. Seems like we've picked up the pace at this point of the race. We're going around the outside of Dovizioso then. Can't quite get it stopped. I wonder if Rossi will start bolting away now, because he's also got the hard tyre on. Through this corner then, through turn 4 in the slipstream of Dovizioso. We're all over the back of them. This is the closest we've been to any of them. Morbidelli's actually making some inroads back on us as well, side by side with Dovizioso. There we go, up into 6th position there. So we break for turn 5. I don't want to get dived on by Dovi. Dovi's up the inside of us though. I had to leave the door open because I did not want to make him lose the front, because that would have been obviously tragic. Obviously it's annoying that I've lost time, but it would be worse if he crashed into me and I fell off. The AI will obviously just turn it tighter if you turn in towards them. So we've overtaken Dovizioso there, but he's probably still on the inside. Yes, he is, once again, sitting us up to that corner, a bit like he did on the first lap. But now we're getting cutting underneath him. You can see Morbidelli and Alex Marquez both closing up there, so we've got a bit of a pack forming now. So maybe Rossi's actually starting to hold everybody up, or maybe everyone's just deciding it's go time, because quite a few overtakes happening around this part of the race, and it seems like we've been reeled in from behind as well. So obviously about to start the penultimate lap, so yeah, I suppose these positions are going to get jostled out a little. So we go flicking it through the last corner, and then we've got the run on Quartararo, past Quartararo, back up into 5th place where we started then. Marquez and Vinales just in front. Vinales looking for the move on Marquez. Actually, maybe it's Crutchlow and Rossi that seem to still be not being involved in the battling. So maybe the hard tyre really is coming into it now. So we're going to go down into power mode 0 because we are running out of fuel. So that is one thing. Our bike doesn't seem the most fuel efficient bike out there. So we flick the bike over, going towards turn 3, back on the power then, running it through. Seemed like in the early part of the race I didn't quite have the pace, but we seem to have it now. Dovizioso once again dropping back through the order after I've overtaken him, so poor old Dovi can't seem to catch a break in this season, although he didn't qualify very well in this race, so it's partially his fault. As we go towards turn 5 then, oh, Quartararo just hits us up the back, just like a Qatar. Quartararo hits us up the back then. Don't know if that will have cost him any time, but Cal Crutchlow looking in a very good position here in second position. Obviously Rossi didn't do very well in the previous race, but Cal's been pretty consistent so far, 2 4th places. This could really be a good championship for him if he continues his consistency. Vinales runs a bit wide then, Marquez looking for the move on him. I'm looking for any opportunity to pass both of them, and all of a sudden Vinales has now passed Crutchlow. Where did that come from? I have no idea. Crutchlow looks like he's hit major tyre troubles here because he just slid through that corner. We're on the outside of Marquez. Oh, we've just turned in on Marquez. A very aggressive move there from myself. It's actually probably cost us, if anything. That's allowed Quartararo to get a run on us there. So Quartararo side by side as we go down towards the penultimate turn then. Marquez has gone a little bit wide. Is anyone going to come launch up the inside? Morbidelli's now getting back into the race. Into turn 2. Vinales has hit the front. Vinales is making a breakaway, so it looks like it's going to be Maverick Vinales getting the win here. Crutchlow still battling with Marquez over 3rd place. I'm trying to get on the power. We're in the wrong gear probably through this section. Alex Marquez is now up into 6th place, so I don't know how he's pulled that off, but Alex Marquez has been sat behind the entire race. Rossi now seems to be struggling, same with Crutchlow. Here we go, on the brakes, and we're just going from 4th. Well, in fact, it was actually maybe even 5th place to 2nd there. Up the inside, we're still 3rd coming out of this corner then. So up into 3rd position, Maverick Vinales has cleared off into the lead. We're right behind Marc Marquez. Can we try and overtake Marc Marquez in this race? So we hit the brakes then for turn 7. I think we've left the door open then for a potential dive bomb, though. It's not going to happen. I think Crutchlow and Rossi are with too much tyre troubles here. Quite how that's happened, I don't know, because I've got so much grip left on the rear. Look at my rear tyre. I mean, it's really cold. It's been cold the entire race. That's been the only issue, so I would have thought they'd been struggling earlier and be fine now. But Vinales really upped his pace on the last lap then here. Looks like we're not going to be able to get Marquez either, but will Valentino be able to get back past us? Looks like a battle pack behind. So I don't think that's going to happen. So we go towards the penultimate turn then. Can we try and mug Marquez off through the last couple of corners on the power? The white wheelies, we flip the bike over towards the last corner. Marquez is going to have it. So over the line, it's 3rd place. So another podium here. So Maverick Vinales on that last lap then absolutely cleared off. Absolutely disappeared. Amazing last lap there by Maverick Vinales. I mean, he overtook Rossi at the first corner, just cleared off. Managed to get myself up into 3rd place there as well. Just dive bombed about 3 riders into one corner. Lost the position back to Marquez, of course, but we got past Rossi and Crutchlow. That's what counted. Alex Marquez getting up to 4th place. A fantastic result for Alex Marquez there. 5th for Valentino Rossi, 6th for Cal Crutchlow, 7th for Quartararo, and 8th for Dovizioso. 9th then for Franco Morbidelli in the end. And obviously that was our big pack. A pack of 9 riders at the end fighting for the victory. It's like a Moto3 race. Fantastic racing. So a bit of a shake-up in the championship then. I move up to 2nd position, 23 points back off Marquez. Maverick Vinales 3 points further back than me, and then Quartararo another 3 points further back. Cal Crutchlow still 5th in the championship. Dovizioso moves down to 6th place, so pretty bad result for him then. Alex Marquez moves up to 7th, Rossi moves up to 8th, and Rins obviously loses quite a few positions there. Looking at the team's championship then, Monster Energy Yamaha moved back ahead of us and Petronas Yamaha up to 2nd in the championship. Mission winner Ducati moved down to 5th, so that obviously means we don't actually move anywhere because we lost a position and gained one. Pramac up to 7th place, Suzuki down to 8th, and Avintia up to 9th ahead of LCR Honda Idemitsu. And of course, looking at the Constructors' Championship then now, we're 10 points behind Yamaha, 23 behind Honda, because obviously Marquez has been the top scoring Honda in every race so far, as is the norm, I suppose. Vinales getting that win, obviously helping out Yamaha a little bit, gaining 5 points back on them. And then obviously another podium for me, 3rd place, really helping out KTM. Ducati not doing as well as they should be. They seem to be really struggling this season. So then, once again, we get to see Parc Ferme. We'll head to Parc Ferme, we'll head to the career hub, and then that's off where we'll end off the episode there. Actually, we'll have a look what happened to Rins first. And so into the first corner he goes, clipped by Petrucci, and down he goes, his bike tumbling into the gravel. I'm guessing that's him out of the race. So on board with Petrucci then towards the first corner, just turns in, smacks Rins, gets dragged wide, and down he goes as well. His bike really went tumbling into the gravel, so a pretty aggressive crash for both riders. So on board with Mir then. Flicking the bike right. Clipped then by Iker Lecuona. I think he took Lecuona out with him actually. Yeah, Lecuona seems to have crashed there. So unfortunate for Lecuona. And they've bashed again as they've come back on the circuit. So if we slow it down then, it's just one of those things. It's more plausible for it to happen in this corner because there's a bit of a difference of speed going in. Mir's just been clipped there by our teammate Lecuona, and unfortunately Lecuona also fallen off his bike there. Oh no, sorry, it's actually Oliveira. So Oliveira clips him, gets put into the gravel, and down he goes. So poor old Miguel there, getting caught up in the accident, and then obviously they bash as they come back on the circuit. So I'm pretty happy with that. To be honest, being stuck at the back of that group the entire race, I didn't think I was going to get anywhere. And as soon as then the last couple of laps came, it just all kicked off. They're all dive bombing each other. It was really fun last couple of laps. But especially on that last lap, as soon as Vinales hit the front, it really all changed up. Rossi and Crutchlow all of a sudden were going backwards, and everyone was trying to pass them. Me and Marquez trying to both pass them at the same time. It was very interesting. So third position this time rather than second position. A win for Yamaha, a win for someone that's not Marquez, so perhaps he won't run away with his title, but he extends his lead regardless, ahead of now myself in second, obviously Vinales in third, so us, the top three in the championship, top three on the podium. So then on the reputation front, we gained 8,550, which brings us up to 309,700 reputation points. And obviously once again that healthy salary coming in clutch there with the 32,863 credits, which takes us up to 280,572. We've got a notification on the technical staff then, a new data analyst applying once again. They got the same price, but the stats are quite different, so pretty good on the aero, very bad on the engine. Obviously the aero is fully done, so we'll refuse that. But I am definitely considering this one here. Because good on the engine, not too bad on, well, pretty bad on the electronics. But if we do the electronics upgrades, then maybe it won't be a problem. I don't really know what I'm going to do in terms of the development of the bike right now. Because obviously we're doing very well. The bike is obviously holding us back quite a bit. Because I'm doing quite well in the races when really I probably could have just got pole and cleared off in them. So it's a bit more interesting to do it like this. I'm preferring to ride a bike that's not upgraded. Perhaps next season we'll have a look at maybe doing something else to change it up and we'll still upgrade the bike. I don't know. This season could still go terribly yet. Obviously, it's only been the 3 rounds, but we've got 2 podiums so far. We do need to start trying to beat Marquez if we can, because obviously he is extending his lead to quite a big margin. Obviously, he's got a 23-point lead in the championship now, which is almost 1 race win's worth. That race was actually quite boring up until the last few laps where, well, it was an interesting race throughout because I had to try and run a decent pace. I was just struggling to get past Morbidelli. Once we got past Morbidelli, it started to all change because then Dovi was struggling with the tyres. So we got past Dovi, and then all of a sudden Rossi and Crutchlow started going slowly and everyone was riding past them. They were going side by side. Quartararo was in the mix trying to get past Vinales, and then all of a sudden Vinales is leading. It was all a very nice packed battle. It was like one of those races that they had the last couple of years. Not so much in 2019, but more 2018 and 17, where Dovi would be leading and he'd back everybody up, just basically to preserve the tyre, so he had something left to fight Mark with at the end. It felt like one of those races right at the end where everyone was just chopping and changing. It was like a Moto3 race, it was great. So I hope you did enjoy that one. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, hope you're all staying safe, and I shall see you in the next one.